Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So Oscar De La Hoya, he was asked recently if he could give Ryan Garcia some advice on how to deal with his loss to Gervonta Tank Davis. What would he tell him? And this is what he said.
The advice would be to just look. You're as good as your last fight. That's the bottom line. So as long as you can get a win, a decisive win in your next fight, everything is erased. That's just the way boxing is. This was no easy fight for both guys. It was a great matchup. You win some, you lose some, but there's no shame in fighting the very best and giving a great performance. And if you lose, you lose. You can just shake it off and move on to the next. That's what fighters have to understand.
Oscar would also say in this interview that he wants Ryan Garcia back in the ring around August. Now, I want to unpack some of the things that Oscar De La Hoya said. He said, if you lose, you lose. You lost to the best. It's not a big deal. Just shake it off and move on to the next. That's very true. But what's very untrue is when he said, you get another win and that erases your previous loss. Now, boxing doesn't work that way. This was Ryan Garcia's signature fight. And you're supposed to either win your signature fight or at least avenge the loss and win the rematch. Now, that's the closest thing to erasing a win. And I don't think any of us believes that Ryan Garcia will beat Gervonta Tank Davis in a rematch. Now, what Ryan Garcia could do is the same thing fighters like Oscar De La Hoya, Roberto Duran, and even Manny Pacquiao did, was after they lose the most important fight or one of the most important fights of their career, they come back and get some big wins. At least that was the case for Manny Pacquiao and Roberto Duran. Now that I think about it, when it comes to Oscar De La Hoya, I can't recall a really big win he got after he lost to Trinidad and Shane Mosley and Bernard Hopkins. The biggest wins that Oscar De La Hoya got around that time was probably against Mayorga and Fernando Vargas. But you have to remember, both of those guys had already been knocked out previously by Tito Trinidad. At least when it comes to Manny Pacquiao, after he lost to Floyd Mayweather, he got another win against Tim Bradley, and he also beat Keith Thurman. Now, when it comes to Roberto Duran, after Sugar Ray Leonard forced him to quit, he ended up getting a good win over undefeated Davey Moore, but shortly after he got that win, he ended up losing to Marvin Hagler and getting knocked out by Tommy Hearns. And before he suffered those two losses, he suffered two other losses, one against Wilfredo Benitez and a fighter that was 23-3 losses by the name of Kirkland Lang. So the question is, will Ryan Garcia meet a similar fate that Roberto Duran did, where he suffered many losses after the Ray Leonard fight? If Ryan Garcia is still going to be facing the best competition, I think the answer is yes. If he fights against Regis Prograis, the best fighter at 140 right now, that's a guaranteed L for Ryan Garcia. But the good news for Ryan is there's so many belts in boxing today, there will most likely be some kind of easy road to a title. If Ryan is lucky, maybe some type of vacant title or some weak champion who's just holding a belt temporarily. Ryan Garcia, he also put out a tweet, which sounds like he's responding to Oscar De La Hoya's interview. He said, "I haven't talked to anyone regarding how I'm going to move forward. I'm taking time to think about a lot of things. I wanted to make that very clear." I'm actually really looking forward to seeing Ryan Garcia's return, especially if he's going to fight someone relevant. But his return will most likely be against a weak opponent just to build his confidence up. But I'm telling you, with all of these fighters that have recently lost in big fights, there could be a really good tournament that I would call the biggest loser tournament. All of the recent losers can fight against each other, which would be some really good fights. Rolly Romero versus Ryan Garcia, Hector Garcia versus Pitbull Cruz, Teofimo Lopez or George Kambosos against any of those guys, and you could just mix and match. So even if they're fighting against other losers, there are still some very interesting fights that can be made. So I'm really looking forward to the return of Ryan Garcia and all the other fighters that just recently lost. Let's see how it all plays out. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, fever blisters, diabetic ulcers, this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo de Key Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodekey.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram. Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com.